the wilderness, the promise stands, words etched in fire by divine hands. Mountains trembled, the heavens roared, a chosen people that fate restored. Through laws and oaths, the truth revealed, a covenant forged, unbroken, sealed. The voice of thunder still calls today to walk the path, don't turn away. Through the trials, through the flame, the voice of God calls out our name. Oh, hear the echoes of the covenant, a burning truth forever relevant. Mountains bow and rivers cry, His law eternal will never die. Through the trials, through the flame, the voice of God calls out our name. Oh, hear the echoes of the covenant, a burning truth forever relevant. Mountains bow and rivers cry, His law eternal will never die. A land of promise, a holy vow, flowing with milk and honey now. But idols rise where faith grows weak. Will we stand or will we seek? The warnings echo, the blessings shine, the curse of strain from the divine. Remember well the cost of grace, the love and power of His embrace. Through the shadows, through the night, the voice of God still burns so bright. Oh, hear the echoes of the covenant, a burning truth forever relevant. Mountains bow and rivers cry, His law eternal will never die. Choose life or death, the choice is near. The sword of truth cuts sharp and clear. A call to love with all your heart. From this command, don't depart. Oh, hear the echoes of the covenant, a burning truth forever relevant. Mountains bow and rivers cry, His law eternal will never die. Oh, the fire, the thunder, the ancient creed, a voice that answers every need. Through all the ages, His words remain, a light in darkness and unbroken chain. In stillness, His whisper stays, guiding the faithful through endless days. Deuteronomy's song, a solemn plea, to love the Lord, to be set free.
Ah, Canada, the land of maple syrup, hockey, and for the past 9 years, Justin Trudeau's luscious hair gracing our TV screens. Well, maybe the Canadians. Yes, friends, it seems that Justin has decided to step down. It's like finding out your favorite barista is quitting. Sure, there will still be coffee, but it will not have that same flair. Sorry, I screwed that up. 9 years as Prime Minister, and Justin Trudeau is calling it quits. Why? He said, and I quote, "I carely deep about this I just suck. I care deeply about this country. Now call me crazy, but when someone starts a resignation speech with how much they care, you know things are about to go down faster than a Zamboni on black ice." He's stepping down after what he called the longest session of minority parliament in Canadian history. Translation, it's been 9 years of political dodgeball, and he's finally run out of dodge. Parliament's been paralyzed. Folks kind of like the rest of, they keep putting these things in there. Kind of like the rest of us when someone asks, so what's the deal with the Canadian health care? Who's waiting in the wings to take over? And I can't say this name right. I'm just going to say Pierre. Yes, Pierre, a name that sounds like it was tailor-made for a Bond villain. This guy has been described as a firebrand, which in Canadian terms means that he once forgot to apologize after bumping into someone. Man, I am butchering this tonight. Trudeau and Pierre's vision is not the right one for Canadians. Pierre's vision is to stop fighting climate change and attack the CBC. It's bold, I'll give him that, like saying, let's save the Titanic by puncturing the other side. But Trudeau's criticism didn't stop there. He also mentioned Pierre's followers, which include, wait for it, Donald Trump. Trump called Trudeau the governor of the great state of Canada. Now, I know geography isn't Trump's strong suit, but the man is single-handedly proving that ignorance is bliss is more of a policy than anything. Trudeau came into power with sunny ways, promising to fight climate change, tackle indigenous issues, and make Canada the envy of the world. And to be fair, he did all those things for the first 5 minutes. Then reality hit like a moose crossing Highway 17. Remember the steelworker who went viral for telling Trudeau, "You're not really doing anything for us, Justin"? That moment wasn't just a critique, it was a mic drop. The guy didn't just speak for steelworkers, he spoke for anyone who's ever looked at their paycheck and thought, wait, that's it? Trudeau's government faced a lot. Trump's tariffs, Elon Musk calling him an insufferable tool, and of course, Chrystia Freeland's fiery resignation letter. The letter, spicier than a bag of ketchup chips, Freeland said Trudeau's political gimmicks were too much, which is Canadian for I'm so done with your nonsense. Now, Canadian politics isn't like any other countries. We don't have January 6th. We have maybe March 24th. We don't storm the parliament. We politely form a line and wait for the next leader. And speaking of leaders, who's ready to step up? The Liberal Party is meeting this week to decide. You know what that means, a potluck. Because in Canada, every big decision starts with who's bringing the, what the hell, Nana Imo bars? I have no idea what that is. Let's not forget that Elon Musk cameo in all of this. Musk called Trudeau an insufferable tool. Now, when the richest man in the world is throwing shade, you know you've made it. Musk said Trudeau wouldn't last much longer through this coming from a guy whose cars sometimes forget they're supposed to stop. So where does Canada go from here? One thing's for sure, we'll miss Justin Trudeau. Not just for his policies or lack thereof, but for his charm, his hair, his ability to pronounce French words like he's auditioning for a role in Les Miserables. I don't know how to say that. And let's not forget Mr. Sparkle. Is it Sparkle Pants or Sparkle Socks? I can't remember. I think it's Mr. Sparkly Socks. Anyway, thank you, Justin, for the 9 years of drama, diplomacy, and that time you wore the most extra-traditional outfits in India. Canada will never forget as we wave goodbye. Let's all raise a double-double and toast to see what comes next. After all, this is Canada, whatever happens, we'll handle it with a smile, an apology, and maybe a few Timbits. Not the funniest. Not even close. Not even really funny. But believe me, I made them both do it. I made ChatGPT give me a monologue, and I made Grok give me a monologue, and they both really sucked. If you thought that one was bad, Grok was worst. So, anyway. As you know, Schmuck Boy stepped down today while he's announcing his step down. Mr. Sparkly Socks. This is a long time coming. He really should have been tossed out on his ass a long time ago. What he did with the trucker protest was insane. And you cannot be the leader of any country that claims to be democratic or claims to be ran by the people when you have an event being held like that to raise awareness that the people have had enough. And here we call it a redress of our grievances. Canada has a constitution too. And the citizens are supposed to be able to go to their leadership and demand change, to demand being heard. And Trudeau violated all of that and even imprisoned the people that were up front. It was crazy. One of the guys, a bunch of truck drivers, one of the guys was just an awesome guy. Pat was just one hell of an awesome dude. He was the guy that you saw and heard. And I could not believe when they arrested him, because he did not do anything illegal. They were taking good care of, it's Canada. They were taking good care of the area in which they were. They were cleaning up their messes. They were making sure people had what they needed. They had every right to be there and every right to do what they were doing. And I think that Justin Trudeau doesn't just need to be pushed out of the seat. I think he needs to be criminally charged with their constitutional violations that he committed. It's just my thoughts. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And that's not even getting into the cough, cough, jab, jab stuff that they did. Many other things that they do. I heard something today on a little sound clip where somebody was claiming, I think it was like, they were claiming like 13% of one area or whatever was behind the idea of becoming a 51st state. And that was it. And I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. I don't think it was the majority, but I do think that there was a notable number that they won't let you have. Let's see. I guess it must be Christmas Eve in Russia? Do they have? Let me Google that. Oh. Okay. It is Christmas Eve in Russia. So, this just popped up. Ukraine launches Christmas Eve attack on Russia's Belgorod, says governor. I didn't realize that it was Christmas Eve in Russia. Says Ukraine has carried out an attack on Russia's Belgorod region on Christmas Eve. Governor, Vyacheslav Gladkov said in the early hours of Tuesday, our air defenses have been activated in Belgorod and the surrounding region. Several aerial targets have been shot down, Gladkov wrote on his Telegram channel. He added that there are no casualties. Governor said a car and 2 houses were damaged by shrapnel in the village of Tavrovo. According to Telegram news channel Shot, residents of Belgorod and the Shabikino area, which borders Ukraine, heard more than 10 powerful explosions around 10 p.m. local time. So, I didn't realize it was Christmas Eve in Russia. Figured they were done with it too. I guess they have New Year's before Christmas Eve, because I'm sure their years are the same, so I would think. Okay, I got 3 articles up. Figured I'd go through them. Get the hell out of here. First one I got up. Candidate Justin Trudeau resigns. I'm sure you've heard about this about 3 or 4 million times today. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that he will step the fuck out. That he will step down as both party leader and prime minister once a replacement for him is selected. He cited internal battles, you mean his own people wanting him to get the hell out, within Canada's ruling Liberal Party that have made it impossible for him to lead it into the next election scheduled for October this year. Trudeau made an announcement at his residence in Rideau Cottage in Ottawa on Monday, following weeks of mounting pressure from his own Liberal caucus and a dramatic decline in national poll numbers. Sounds like a current vice president and their presidential bid. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I am having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in the election, Trudeau stated. Yeah, because he was going to very likely lose a vote of no confidence, and that would have been the end for his reign anyway. So I guess he's trying to save face, but everybody knows. He announced that he had requested the president of the Liberal Party to initiate the process of choosing a new leader. He also requested a prorogation of Parliament, temporarily suspending all parliamentary activities, including debates and votes, until March 24. Lawmakers are currently on a scheduled holiday break and are set to resume on January 27th. Wow. The announcement marked the first time Trudeau addressed reporters since former Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland unexpectedly resigned from the cabinet on December 16. Freeland, whose Ukrainian grandfather collaborated with the Nazis during World War II, stepped down following disputes over the Trudeau government's planned response to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's announcement of a 25% tariff on all Canadian imports. Trudeau then traveled to Trump Mar-a-Lago estate to avert a potential trade war, but his efforts have appeared to backfire. No. Is that right, Mr. Sparkly Socks? Sucks to be you. Anyway, so they're kicking him out. That's, I think, a good thing. A very good thing. We'll see, because there are so many nations that, the right, if you will, political movements of these different nations, it's insane how many are flipping and how hard they are flipping, because people have had enough. It's pretty crazy. Got a huffy dog. She's a huffer. I talk, she huffs. So anyway, in other news, you got Trudeau running out the door, and then you've got Trump running in the door. So that's a good thing. Today, the certification seemed to go, I guess, okay. They gave it to Trump. They didn't try denying him or anything like that. But I will say this. They had a camera on J.D. Vance most of the time. And I swear that I read 2 things from his facial expressions and his body movements: concern and nervousness. And I don't know why. Or not, kind of frustrated. Not nervous, but more frustrated than anything. I don't know why. But there was something about what was going on there, and I don't necessarily think it was something that we would have seen or heard. In fact, I think probably not. And he just did not look like he was very happy to be there. I did notice one thing as I watched. There were several Republicans, including J.D. Vance, that when they read off a state where the Democrats won, they would clap. Number of Republicans. But when they read off the states that Trump and J.D. won, be damned if the Democrats clapped. They just sat there and steamed and stewed, and so, I mean, I don't know. To me, the proof is in the pudding. They certified him. We'll get to that. But before we get to that, Trump reacts to Trudeau's resignation. Said U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has suggested that Canada should formally become the 51st American state. I don't know if we want that. Pardon me. Let's see. After Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepped down from party leadership. Trudeau resigned on Monday, citing internal battles in the Liberal Party. He will remain a caretaker prime minister until the party elects a new leader, heading into the new parliamentary election due before the end of October. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state, Trump posted on his Truth Social platform on Monday afternoon. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs. Canadians would pay lower taxes, and both would be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them, Trump added. Together, what a great nation it would be. Trudeau's resignation appears to have been driven, at least in part, by Trump's threat of a 25% tariff on goods crossing from both Canada and Mexico. The upcoming president accused both neighbors of allowing illegal immigrants, crime, and drugs to enter the U.S. while running up unfair trade surpluses with Washington through abusing free trade treaties. The tariff threat triggered the resignation of Trudeau's deputy, Chrystia Freeland, opening a rift among the Liberals. The Canadian leader tried discussing the issue with Trump directly, flying to the president-elect's Florida residence in early December. During a dinner at Mar-a-Lago, however, Trump jokingly called Trudeau governor and joked that Canada ought to become the 51st U.S. state. He's kept up the banter ever since, speculating that Canada could even be divided into two states, one conservative and one liberal. He's also spoken of acquiring Greenland, the Arctic island off the northeastern coast of Canada that's an autonomous territory of Denmark. Let's see. And it goes on to talk about Canada. Hang on. Her allergies are tearing her up. They make her skin itch real bad. Let's see. Anyway, I think it's all crazy, to be quite honest. I really do. I'm just glad that things went okay today with the certification, as far as I could tell. There's conspiracy and murmur that the Democrats are still gonna try to do something. I don't know how much credence I give any of that. I know BP Earthwatch put up a couple of short videos, one talking about a big bomb blast or something like that. I don't know. Another one was, I think he posted another one that was like Raskin or whatever, talking about some plan they had. I don't know if I buy any of that. Just, what can we do? If that's what their plan is, it's not like we can stop it. The only thing we can do, as I've always said, is be able to respond. Not react, but respond. That's all we can do. Most of us won't have some immediate, imminent threat to our life, liberty, and property. But if something hanky does happen between now and inauguration, we have to take it day by day. I do not think people will be very happy, and I don't think that it would stay civil. I really don't. Especially when you have a president that has a mandate. That says it all. And that was, in my opinion, one of the most important things about him securing a victory is that he get that mandate. Boy, I'll tell you, Kamala sure in the hell wasn't very happy about the events today, that's for sure. She appeared sober enough to be able to do her job. There was a short video I saw that was supposedly her speaking more candidly after the certification, and it seemed like maybe she had a couple of shots or something before she spoke then, but she seemed pretty coherent, at least the most coherent you get out of her during the certification. Oh, man. Let's see. I reckon we'll go on to the last one I have up, which is the certification. I have a couple of vapes, though. By the way, update on that spot in my back. I had a spot in my back that about midway, a little above midway up on the right-hand side, just right to my spine, or the right of my spine. I mean, it felt like somebody jabbing a knife in there, and it's been that way for weeks. And it just gradually got worse and hurt like hell. And today, I was hurting pretty bad. And so I went and just popped my back in the bed. And when I did, and it was odd, you would have thought it would have been some major crazy pop. I just felt a real minor, real small pop right in that area. And, it was a little sore right away. But after that soreness went away, it apparently went into place, because I'm not having any of that getting stabbed in the side of the back kind of thing. That sucked. But that's what happens. Like I said, I've got issues with my joints, so. Not the green leafy ones. I can do those just fine. Let's see. U.S. Congress certifies Trump's election win. U.S. Congress has certified President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance as the winners or the wieners of the 2024 election, with no Democrats objecting to the Republican victory for the first time since 1988. Isn't that a quinky-dink? The Trump-Vance ticket won 312 Electoral College votes, the popular vote, and all 7 swing states, triumphing over Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz. Harris got to certify her own defeat on Monday, chairing a joint session of Congress as part of her ceremonial duty as President of the Senate. Today was obviously a very important day, and it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power. Harris told reporters at the Capitol afterward. Now, mind you, they're really towing that line about their peaceful transfer of power. And they're repeating that so many times, that makes me nervous. It actually does. It makes me nervous. Because they keep repeating it. Multiple Democrats argued that their willingness to cede power stood up in sharp contrast with four years ago, when a crowd of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building in an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 vote. No, they didn't. Federal prosecutors have imprisoned more than 1,500 people in relation to the incident the Democrats labeled a violent insurrection. Congress certifies our great election victory today, a big moment in history, Trump posted on his Truth Social platform earlier in the day, followed by his campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. Monday's joint session of Congress took place amid a massive winter storm which dropped about 6 inches of snow on Washington. The Capitol was fenced off with security barriers and surrounded by a heavy police presence. Trump has never admitted that he lost the 2020 election, claiming that a number of irregularities and dirty tricks delivered the presidency to Joe Biden. The 2021 Capitol breach happened just as a group of Republicans were lodging a formal objection to an unofficial tally. When the rattled lawmakers reconvened later in the day, the Republicans withdrew all of their objections. A month after the Capitol riot, Time magazine published a story of a shadow campaign that fortified the 2020 election for the Democrats. Biden originally planned to run for re-election but was pressured to drop out by his own party in mid-July following a disastrous televised debate and a failed assassination attempt on Trump. He endorsed Harris for the nomination. She went on to amass a $1.5 billion war chest and attract endorsements from many celebrities and most of the media, but came up short at the polls. And in her wine cellar. Damn it. Yeah. It is what it is. Is what it is. As Ken Herron would say, buh and bye. And that's exactly what I said today when she got done reading the tally of the votes, the electoral votes. I was like, buh and bye. This is crazy, and I'm probably foolish because I try not to think like this, but man, it's just like every day of the Joe Biden presidency has just dragged on, and almost seems like you're trying to claw up a dirt hill or something. It's just insane, almost impossible to make it in the Joe Biden times. I hope I'm not foolish, but I hope that things turn around. Some things I hope turn around very quickly, and I don't see it happening. I hope it does, because the American people need it. One of those things is grocery prices have to come down. Fuel has to come down. Inflation in general has to come down. Somebody was commenting on one of the videos I made for Coleman Lantern when I did the review of the Coleman Lantern. And they were saying how the two different white gas or, camping fuel brands that Walmart carries are now the same price. You could always pick up the, Coleman brand for 14 something a gallon. But there was a brand called Crown that I think you could get at, I think was like 8 something a gallon, if I'm not mistaken, that you could get. It could have been 6 something or 7 something. But when the whole cough, cough, jab, jab thing went down, the price of the Crown went up to the same price as the Coleman, and it's never came down since. So, you know, it is truly ridiculous, because I think there is gouging going on. I have no doubt of it. No doubt of it. And I hope Trump does whatever he needs to do to get it to come down, to get these corporations to stop, because a lot of it is unnecessary. A lot of this cost is unnecessary. You know, it'd be one thing, like we've got supposedly, allegedly, we got this issue with bird flu and a bunch of chickens needing to be cold, and that's why chicken prices and egg prices are through the roof. Well, like I've said before, our egg prices now aren't any different than they were 2 weeks ago or a month ago. They stay steady, which is really damned expensive. Let me look up real quick what they are right this moment. And I just go by the box, the 60 count box. $19.26. It's actually up about $1. Now it's up about $1. So normally it's around 18, between, somewhere just shy of 18.50 a lot of times, maybe a little more. But now it's 19.26. So they did go up a little bit. It's crazy. Mind blowing. It's not just eggs, though. That's the big problem. It's every single damn product in the store. It takes a lot more money now to stretch through the month than what it did. A lot more. And again, all I can do is hope that Trump can pull something off. If he can't, people are going to be hurting. I mean, bad. Because it's not like the prices are going down. They keep inching up. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to get off that soapbox. I am going to get out of here. Get to relax, and maybe I can sleep a little better tonight without being stabbed in the back. And I will talk to you all tomorrow evening. So I hope you all have a good night. Shalom.